8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn a hole in my head. This devil man and his master plan. You feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take it all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up. Hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
What's up, Gerald? What's up, Riddle? How you doing? All the people we got right now, and that's fine. It can be a chill stream. I'm cool with that. It just be us. So, I've been busy. Today's been fun. Been putting up a camera security system. So there's a lot of reaching and jumping up on step stools and stuff, and it always makes me nervous being an ex very overweight person who have fallen and broken things many a time. That's always worrisome, and I'm dealing with a rib injury, unfortunately. So, and we worked out today, which definitely hurt the ribs. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitching too much. I should just get over it. Hopefully all your days are going well, Gerald and wife. Other than that, I don't think there was any much to report. So let's get on to it. You see this a lot in the news. It's all about China and their newfound powers. Psaki brushes off China's nuke push and says, "We welcome stiff competition." Sure. What kind of competition are you talking about? President Biden's press secretary Psaki shrugged off recent reports of China's advances in nuclear technology, claiming we welcome stiff competition in advancing weapon systems. You gotta love that, yeah. According to the Financial Times, China tested a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in August. You heard about it recently, and I only say you heard about it recently because I just finished watching a Guns Coast to Coast video. But yeah, we heard about it, yesterday? Today, depending on who you are. But in August, they launched that or tested that circled the globe before speeding towards its target, demonstrating an advanced space capability that caught the U.S. intelligence by surprise. Although the missile reportedly missed its target by about 24 miles, the test showed that China has made an astounding progress on hypersonic weapons and was far more advanced than the U.S. officials realized, according to two people briefed on the intelligence. The test has raised new questions about why the U.S. often underestimated China's military modernization. Because we're too worried about other things going on right now, I would imagine. When asked about China's apparently new capability, Psaki downplayed her concern while praising Biden's relations with China. Oh, they're besties. "We have been consistent in our approach with China," she claimed, after refusing to comment specifically on weapons technology report. While Biden and his administration have taken on a consultant approach to relations with China, it appears that their approach amounts to a one-sided partnership wherein our political elites sell out Americans to the Chinese. The Biden family, for example, has profited greatly from its cozy relations with a foreign giant. Biden's son Hunter, got $500,000 from a Chinese company, and it's also been revealed that Hunter Biden attempted to acquire an annual $2 million retainer to aid in the recovery of Libyan assets frozen by former President Obama. But connections to China are not limited to the Biden family. Mark Milley, chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, also got into China's action, telling Chinese officials during the Trump administration that he would warn the rival superpower before undertaking any military strikes against it. And meanwhile, Biden's administration failed withdrawal from Afghanistan. China has increased its military presence in and around disputed territories, notably Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the South China Sea. Taiwan and Hong Kong, definitely. I think they're gearing up for that. Are they gearing up for striking the U.S.? I don't know. However, apparently America is moving the Iron Dome to Guam, which is a very small island, kind of in the middle of Hawaii and China-ish. The U.S. Army is deploying one of two air defenses batteries equipped with the Israeli-made Iron Dome system to Guam. The decision to send Iron Dome systems comes as the U.S. military continues to explore options to expand its air and missile defenses on this highly strategic island in the Pacific as part of the broader efforts to deter China in the Indo-Pacific region. The latest versions of the Iron Dome system, which was originally designed to intercept incoming rockets and other artillery rounds, have also demonstrated the ability to shoot down small drones and low-flying cruise missiles. I don't know if it'll do anything with those hypersonics. I believe they go into the upper atmosphere or past. Maybe space. Correct me if I'm wrong. The 94th Air Army and Missile Defense Command, which is based in Hawaii, announced the deployment, which it described as temporary and experimental, earlier this week. Troops from the 2nd Battalion, 43 Air Defense Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bliss, Texas, will operate the Iron Dome battery on Guam. Elements of the Army's 38th Air Defense Artillery Brigade, forward deployed in Japan, will also support the deployment, which has been nicknamed Operation Iron Island. I think there is a chance. I mean, there's a lot of saber rattling going on right now, but China has come out and said that if Japan decides to help Taiwan, they will nuke them out of existence. I believe that's why we're sending the Iron Dome to Guam. But yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but Iron Dome is in Guam. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to play it or not, but sure. If you haven't seen this, I guess this was yesterday, actually. I missed it.
So China's tested a rather awesome missile that you found out about in the last 24 hours. Let me ask you something. Why do you think you found out about it in the last 24 hours? It didn't happen in the last 24 hours. It happened back in August. But you heard about it now. I wonder why that might be. I wonder who controls that. At the same time that you're worried about Chinese and cargo carriers off the coast. Right? Right? Hey, you know, I've heard a lot of crazy things. I've heard of Bigfoot being interdimensional. I have heard of lizard people living underground. I have heard of the Dulce alien base 7 levels down. I have heard of aliens not really being aliens, but being demons to take the place of the boogeyman under the false deception that aliens are going to invade when it's really demons right before Armageddon. I have even heard that Stevie Wonder can't see when he really can see, and that he's duping us all for money, and that he's not blind. I have heard that the government has signed... Go ahead, it's your turn. Go ahead. I'll be friendly today. I have heard that the government signed in 1959 that a certain number of people can be abducted every year, in which case we will get technology under Eisenhower. I have heard a lot of things. But the idea that there are Chinese troops in containers...
Yeah, so if you didn't know this, I was thinking about doing that story. Well, it's not really a story. It's just that there's a lot of containers off the coast from China that's not being allowed in. And there are theories out there that the Chinese soldiers are staying in these containers waiting to be unloaded so they can invade like a Trojan horse. I don't buy that for 1 second. Those things are hot and uncomfortable. LOL. I did see that video clip of Stevie Wonder avoiding being hit in the face one smooth motion after he saw it, as if he saw it. Well, there you go. Great conspiracy. I like a good conspiracy theory. Why not?
On ships offshore waiting to invade while knee-deep in filth is a new one to me. I even heard recently, I heard many variations of this. I was on Steve over at Corsair's Trainers channel. I believe that's where it was when I was relaying some of these. They weren't all original. That they didn't have to stock provisions because they cut a hole in the bottom and fished. I heard another one that those weren't containers. It was a facade where they really had luxurious accommodations inside until they were ready to invade. And it was just an exterior of cargo containers. My favorite was that they weren't even filled up yet completely, that the empty cargo containers came over and they were sitting there empty, and that a submarine was delivering the Chinese troops to them so that they didn't have to sit inside them so long. And then the Chinese troops were going to take the ride to be placed throughout the United States and then jump out like a jack-in-the-box and say, surprise. Imagine this.
Has anybody ever seen the movie UHF with Weird Al? And the guys jump out of the closet and say, supplies! What's up, OMG? How you doing?
When that door opened. So there's this maniacal concern right now for the Chinese. Why would the Chinese want to kill their best customer? You guys have given money to them for 3-4 decades now. Their economy is improving. They're amassing gold. They've bought, stole, or taken over or had contracts for all the rare earth minerals that you can shake a stick at. Also, they can sell you more cheap crap at high marked up prices. Why would they stop? I wouldn't stop if I were them. Just saying. We didn't even go down the rabbit hole of whether or not they would irradiate North America. I believe they would, actually. For those people that say they want the infrastructure, honestly, that's small-minded. They don't want your infrastructure. They want to build their own infrastructure. They've got 30 million men that don't have wives. Those are jobs programs. Just like they've got entire cities there that are empty. Multiple cities, like 10, 20 cities. We're talking 10 by 10 square blocks with sky rises. So no, just saying. I've heard some things in my time, but that took the cake. So why would they tell you about the rocket launch now? And keep in mind, it wasn't a Chinese press release. Huh. Who stands to gain by you being in fear? Could it be when they take over Taiwan, they don't want you honoring your treaties? Could it be that the same people that always tell you the truth in government want you to be afeared? Just saying.
It's interesting, right? We all knew they want Taiwan and Hong Kong. Is that the reason why they're bloviating with the whole hypersonic missiles? Interesting points. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let everybody know I did read the Nuremberg Code. I knew about it. I didn't actually remember about that. So yes, welcome OMG. I hope all is going well with you, making lots of money. I know there's a lot of truckers needed out there, so you're probably pretty busy if you're still doing that. Rachel Levine. By the way, if you weren't worried enough with China and all that stuff going on, here, meet our new 4-star admiral. Transgendered. I guess she's a girl now. Yeah, I'm going to guess she's a girl now. Rachel Levine, the first openly transgendered U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health, is set to become the first openly transgendered 4-star officer in the service of the United States government. Admiral Levine's historic appointment as the first openly transgendered 4-star officer is a giant step forward towards equality as a nation, said Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Burka. This is a proud moment for us at HHS, he claimed. Admiral Levine, a highly accomplished pediatrician who helps drive our agency's agenda to boost health access to equity and to strengthen behavioral health. Okay, so you're not really in the Army. I mean, you are, but you're not really. Okay. Is a cherished and critical partner in our work to build a healthier America. Levine will serve as admiral in the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps, a uniformed but not armed service of the U.S. government. Yeah, which is probably a good thing. Officers advance our nation's public health, serving in agencies across the government as physicians, nurses, dentists, veterinarians, scientists, engineers, and other professionals. This is a momentous occasion, and I'm honored to take this role for the impact that I can make and for the historic nature of what it symbolizes, Levine said about the appointment. I stand on the shoulder of those LGBTQ plus individuals who came before me, but those known and unknown, both those known and unknown. Prior to serving in the Biden administration, Levine served as top health official in Pennsylvania and was embroiled in a number of controversies regarding the sniffles. During Senate confirmation hearings earlier this year for Levine's appointment to Health and Human Services, Senator Susan Collins of Maine grilled the nominee about the charges that Pennsylvania inadequately protected nursing home residents from the sniffles and then covered it up by failing to disclose the correct numbers. You assured me that Pennsylvania did not do what New York did, that it accurately reported the numbers. Collins said to Levine, according to Fox News. However, I am told that in September of 2020, Spotlight PA reported issues with inadequate disclosure of cases and deaths in nursing homes. Levine claimed the issue was due to the lag time between nursing homes and states on reporting deaths. Congratulations, Rachel. What's up, Irish? I thought I saw Irish. I did see Irish. Who's that fear porn red Jeep driver? Yeah. I don't know, but apparently he thinks aliens are real. Be curious on what he thinks aliens are. Like actual visitors from other planets? Secret weapons developed by the government? I have my opinion just because the way I believe. You know, it's... Do I have any factual evidence on it? No, not really. I wouldn't even call it a conspiracy theory because I've never heard of anybody else saying it. All right? But that's just my own personal belief. Doing that now? Nice. Let's see. I guess I need to smoke more Gani. Even spell Brenda.
Yeah, he misspelled his wife's name up there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, luckily I don't usually notice, but Riddle will notice really quickly. Majorie? Is it Majorie? Majorie Tyler Green out. Marjorie? Marjorie?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that name, or at least how it's spelled. Said New America First plan to aid the GOP victory in 2022. I don't know. I like her, but I understand that she comes on a little strong. So we'll see. So did Trump, though. According to Paul Bedard, the Washington Examiner, Representative Taylor Greene of Georgia, who is running for re-election in 2022, has hired a new chief of staff and plans to announce endorsements of 2022 candidates in an effort to make herself a national voice for the America First movement. I'm going to hate 2022. It's going to take me a while to say it right. Representative Greene, a member of the House Freedom Caucus, is one of few Republicans who have taken action on behalf of January 6 protesters who are still being held in prison, tagging the two-track justice system in the United States after the June 24th letter to the heads of the FBI and the Capitol Police. Greene has also taken the leading role in demanding election accountability. Her new chief of staff will be Ed Bachman, a veteran congressional staffer and former lobbyist who served as former House Majority Leader Tom DeLay's chief of staff from 95 to 98. In 2016, Buckman, who was subpoenaed but never charged as a part of a Justice Department investigation into Jack Abrahamoff, was considered a frontrunner to be executive director of the House Freedom Caucus, but was not hired. Representative Greene told Bedard that Buckham's is a strong conservative, definitely believes in the America First agenda, and has more experience in the swamp, so to speak, probably than most people working on the Hill right now. I need that wisdom and experience on my team to achieve what I'm looking to do. Apparently, she's done filing articles of impeachment against Biden, calling him unfit, surviving a resolution to expel her from Congress for inciting political violence, and after one of her Democratic colleagues hung a transgendered flag nearby displaying the following sign outside her office, "There are two genders, trust science." Sponsoring the Fire Fauci Act, Greene's outspoken, larger-than-life persona has resonated strongly with conservative supporters of former President Trump, while rolling Democrats who successfully stripped her of her committee appointment as one of their first acts in the current congressional term. However, her reputation as a lightning rod has garnered at least one serious primary challenger, Jennifer Strahan, who has already signaled an intent to run against Greene for the Republican nominee in Georgia's 14th district. Wow, she's got another Republican going to run against her in the primary? That's kind of messed up. Thus far, Greene's fundraising has well outpaced that of her rivals. Well, yeah, she's very vocal. What's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing? Seeing that you put out a video, was not able to watch it. Kind of been busy today. My apologies. Got a few things hung up around the house. You know how it is. Hope all is well in the Broken Patriot land. Cruz introduces a bill to transfer migrant facilities to ritzy, dim vacation spots. Ain't never gonna happen. But he has introduced a bill this week to transfer migrant detention facilities from border towns to ritzy areas where Democrat elites host their cocktail parties, such as Martha's Vineyard. I mean, I could get behind it, but it'll never pass. Obviously, they're not going to want that. President Biden and Democrats need to step up to defend our southern border and support our historic customs and border protection officials, he said. The bill, dubbed the Stop the Surge of Unsafe Rio Grande Encampments, or SURGE, Act, will help the federal government get control of the southern border after President Biden's willingly surrendered it to dangerous criminal cartels without any thought given to the southern Texas border communities like McAllen and Del Rio. It's not going to go anywhere. But it's he's doing what he's got to do. It's okay. You're having an okay day. Well, any day that you're not dead is a good day. Speaking of things like that, 17 state attorney generals slammed the DOJ for trying to chill lawful dissent at a school board meeting. A group of 17 state attorney generals submitted a letter Monday to President Biden arguing that the Justice Department has been attempting to quell lawful speech by parents at school board meetings, conservative journalist Greg Jarrett reported. Over the last year, we have advised our constituencies of their constitutional rights to free speech and encourage public engagement to voice their opinions on important issues affecting their country, state, and communities, especially parents who have concerns about their children's education, the letter stated. Just because you're mad doesn't mean you're making a threat. The whole reason free speech was put into the Constitution in the first place was not so that it was speech that you agreed with or kindful speech. It was there to protect the speech you don't like. And as long as you weren't actively trying to kill somebody, you could say whatever the hell you wanted. At least at the beginning. Your recent action seeks to chill lawful dissent by parents voiced during a local school board meeting by characterizing them as unlawful and threatening. The letter followed an October 4th memorandum issued by the DOJ instructing the FBI to crack down on alleged uprising of parents against teachers and school board representatives. Monday's letter went on to argue that the memorandum from the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland was based upon a flawed premise and was being used as a cudgel to intimidate concerned parents into silence. GOP-led group also referenced the First and 14th Amendment right of parents and guardians to direct the upbringing and education of their children. Garland's October 4th memorandum was issued in response to a claim by the National School Board Association that there had been an increase in threats of violence and domestic terrorism against school staff, particularly board members. I would imagine if there's an actual threat against you, investigate it and find out if you did it yourself. Because I would imagine most of them were falsely reported. It's just a guess. The vast majority of instances that the NSBA cites involve disruptive and disorderly conduct rather than threats. The state attorney general rebutted, in fact, in no known instance has there been anything like the burning, looting, police assaults, vandalism, and other criminal activity that occurred in the summer of 2020. Hey, freaking men on them. Wow. Ted Cruz looks better with facial hair? Yeah. He's not as plastic. They suggested that Garland and the partisan DOJ may have better things to do than insert themselves into the highly charged debate over schools' indoctrination and other leftist policies before foisted upon vulnerable students. Surely the FBI and the Department of Justice have to attend like a massive spike in murders in major cities throughout the United States, the letter said. Our country's law enforcement efforts should be focused on the rise of crime instead of harassing and intimidating parents that petition local governments to better serve their children. These parents want the best for their children and are willing to challenge school leaders who seek to supplant their God-given authority to raise the children according to their values. I mean, that's all great speech. I mean, those are the attorney generals. But the schools don't want that. The schools think it's threatening. The schools want to teach your kids what they want to teach them. So, but I kind of agree. Facial hair does help out Ted Cruz a little bit. Taxpayers to fund immigration tent court in Texas. This was supposed to be like that. Oh well. So the Biden administration said last week that it will comply with the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy, but now that the rule has been reinstated on liberal terms, American taxpayers will fund the project. According to the policy, also known as the Migrant Protection Protocol, potential immigrants must remain in Mexico while they await their immigration hearings. Biden, in a furious attempt to return to the Obama-era open border, suspended MPP along with many other Trump-era immigration orders, resulting in the ensuing border crisis. Of course, he rolled back all those policies, yet the Justice Department has been forced to comply with the order and plans to resume the policy in November. In order to speed up the immigration hearing process, the DOJ has hired contractors to begin constructing large-scale court tents in Texas cities of Laredo and Brownsville. A similar system was in place prior to President Trump's brokering of the Remain in Mexico policy when thousands of immigrants arrived via caravan in a brazen effort to overwhelm the system. Constructing tents and arranging courts will cost taxpayers $14 million, according to the Washington Post. Maintaining them will cost taxpayers another $24.6 per month. Asylum seekers who have allegedly returned to Mexico would have their immigration status hearings in the tent. Currently, 1.4 million illegal immigrants await hearing. Yet the MPP to actually work, Mexico must work in partnership with U.S. officials, whereas Trump maintained a friendly relationship. Kamala Harris claims to have spent her time addressing the root causes of immigration. Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to be careful with this one. If you don't know about natural news, if you ever read natural news on the air, better be careful with it. So, Ireland town that has 99.7 people of their, percentage of their people that have gotten all their shots are now seeing a massive outbreak. The Irish enclave of Waterford, where 99.7% of all adults are now fully shotted, is seeing a huge outbreak of the disease. According to reports, this latest surge in new cases of the Psaki flu is igniting fears that Ireland might be on the verge of going through a fifth wave of the disease, even though people are obeying the government's demand that they get the jab. In the last 7 days, Waterford has seen 408 new cases of the Chinese flu. This translates to an incident rate of 351.2 infections per 100,000 people. Over the past 2 weeks, Waterford has seen 719 new cases, or 618 cases per 100,000 people. County Waterford has the highest adult shot rate in Ireland at 99+%. Tweeting someone familiar with the new data, County Waterford also has the highest sniffle incident rates in Ireland, followed by the County Carlow in second place. This same person added, "What's going on? Sounds like a whole lot like the current situation in Vermont. Despite nearly 90% of the state now being all shotted up, the Chinese sniffles hospitalizations are soaring." Interesting why that would happen. Seems like wherever the most people are getting the jab for the flu, there you will find most cases of illness and death. And wherever people are just saying no, there you will find the healthiest people. Apparently, allegedly. I'd like to see some facts before I just buy into this. And then they claim that it's a mental illness. I'm not going to go into that. But I thought it was interesting enough to read that part of it. 99.7% have got their shots, and yet they got the highest of the new cases. Now, y'all remember the video of the police officer quitting in his squad car, signing off? Well, I guess he already was being forced out. Excuse me. He was being forced out, and on his last sign off, he said, "And Inslee can kiss my ass." That was in Washington. This is in Chicago. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot accused the police union of inciting an insurrection by encouraging officers to oppose the city's mandate. The Fraternal Order of Police urged Chicago police officers not to comply with Chicago's mandates, calling it unconstitutional or an unconstitutional order that violates their privacy. Do not fill out the portal information. Chicago Fraternal Order, the cop told members in a video last week. I've made many statuses very clear as far as the shot, but I do not believe the city has the authority to mandate that to anybody, let alone that information about your medical history. There is no way Chicago will be able to suspend all officers who haven't gotten the jab if a majority choose not to comply, he added. There is no way they are going to be able to sustain a police department workforce at 50% capacity or less for more than 7 days without something budging. In response, Lightfoot filed a lawsuit against the union and accused union officials of spreading lies to induce an insurrection. What we've seen from the police department, in particular leadership, is that a lot of misinformation, a lot of half-truths, and frankly, flat-out lies in order to induce an insurrection. And we're not having that, she continued. And so we want to make it very, very clear that the law is on our side. We feel very confident about it. What are you going to do with the law? The law is on your side, Lightfoot? Who's the law enforcers? They're going to arrest themselves? Make themselves work? Is the 50% of the police officers you still have left going to force the other 50% to work? Because I'm pretty sure if I don't want to go to work, I don't have to go to work. I might get fired. I might lose my benefits. I might have a lot of things happen. But if I don't go to work, I don't go to work. And you will bow down to that eventually, because in order to get me back at that point, not only do you have to reinstate me, not only do you have to give me back my pension, not only all those things, but you're probably going to have to give me some sort of sign-on bonus or some pain and suffering bonuses at that point too. Lightfoot also defended Chicago's lawsuit against the union as a necessary means to stop officers from participating in an illegal work stoppage. Well, I hope they stop on their own if that's what they want to do. Abbott blasts Biden for abandoning border towns after shots fired on the National Guardsmen. I know they were shooting across the border, but I don't know that they were shooting at anybody in particular, like it matters. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott told Fox News' Maria Bartiromo that President Biden has abandoned the border, noting that Mexican cartels recently shot at Texas National Guardsmen. The cartels on the Mexican side of the border, they're beginning to open fire on National Guard that Texas has down on the border to secure the border. According to this is escalating into a firing war on each side of the border, where Texas and our National Guard are having to defend themselves and defend the state of Texas. Wow. Video captured by Fox News' Bill Milgon shows the cartel members firing into the Roma, Texas, said Milgon, who also said that Texas National Guardsmen stationed at the border have witnessed many cartel gunfights in the area. This might be the one I've already seen if it's tracers.
Holy shit.
Oh, shoot. Definitely U.S. side, 50 cal. That's just indiscriminate fire.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I believe I've seen that video before, so that's not a new one.
Definitely U.S. side, 50 cal.
Let's see. Previously, Yahoo News reported that cartel members who were smuggling illegal immigrants across the river would taunt soldiers and law enforcement on the U.S. side of the border. What's been happening actually this past week is we see a group of individuals that are coming across, they're smuggling people, but what they are doing is they come across into the river into the U.S. and smuggle people. They go back into Mexico and they get their weapons and then start shooting. These are assault rifles, okay, AK-47s. They'll stand in the middle of the river and then they're brandishing their weapons and taunting the National Guard, who is across on the U.S. side. So they can shoot into our side, but apparently we can't shoot back. Still photos on Twitter by Milgun showed more than half a dozen men dressed in jeans and flak jackets carrying semi-automatic or fully automatic. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from that camera angle. On the Mexican side of the border, the Biden administration has completely abandoned all the people who live on the border, and they've abandoned the people in the state of Texas. These are countries, and these are people who, these are counties, and these are people who are traditionally have voted Democrat. The Biden administration is ignoring. He's putting them in danger. Will it wake them up? I doubt it. Illegal aliens. Yep. What's up, Jupiter 5? How are you doing? Welcome in. Landowners near the border. I wonder if they are about to do something on their own. I recall when I was 13 or 14, there was some border landowners forced to take matters into their own hands. Well, yeah, if I'm sorry, but if anybody crosses on my property, I'm not even going to talk to you. It'll be well posted what will happen if you cross. And at that point, it is what it is. But I don't envy them. To have to, I mean, I live in a pretty bad part of town. But I don't live in the border town. You know what I mean? Biden admin has lost track of 45,000 migrant kids released at the border. Lost track or just didn't care to pay attention? The Biden administration has lost track of 45,000 illegal immigrants who are unaccompanied minors, nearly 40% of the 114,000 cases this year. The decision to weaken the vetting process contributed in part to the Biden administration's loss of contact with 40% of more than 114,000 unaccompanied children who entered the U.S. illegally. Not to meaning that they're actually going to get an education or they're going to go to school or they're going to get a job. They could be kidnapped. They could be put into the sex trade, drug smuggling. They're still people. Center for Immigration Studies warned that in September that the administration did not follow up with unaccompanied minors in nearly half the cases between January and March of 2021, and said the consequences could be dire for the minors. By comparison, Axios said that in 2018, the Trump administration drew criticism for being unable to account for the whereabouts of around 1,500 children released from the Health and Human Services shelters during a 3-month period. Oh, how things change when there's a different person in office. If this all sounds familiar, that's because it's a redolent of a 2014 incident in which UAC's unaccompanied minors were found to have been placed with traffickers who then forced them to work up to 12 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week on egg farms in and around Marion, Ohio. Wow. Like, why don't we go after the companies that hire them? Never understood that. Lost track, lost, or let go. I'm in the dead part of town. I'd like to be not anywhere close to a town. 15 minutes away from the nearest store would be fine. I don't mind 15 minutes. You know, you're a swamp in Maine? There's swamps in Maine? Wow, I'm actually surprised by that. Governor Greg Abbott charged that the Biden administration was participating in the abuse of children by lax enforcement at the southern border. President Biden caused this crisis and has repeatedly failed to address it, said Abbott, and concluded the Biden administration is presiding over the abuse of children. Homeland Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that during a trip to southern Texas that there had been 100,000 apprehensions of illegal immigrants at the southern border this year, making it a 21-year high. It's out of control, said Michael McCall of Texas, of the border crisis. According to Breitbart, it is a self-inflicted wound. Wow. So, Gerald, you're in the swamp. No, not Washington, D.C. There was swamp, I guess, in Indiana, too. I was kind of surprised by that. I always thought the swamps were mostly, Louisiana, Mississippi, that area. But I suppose a lot of places can have swamps. I'm pretty sure there's not one in Arizona. If there is, I want to go see it before we leave the state. All kinds of swampy areas. That's cool. How does it? I'd have questions on how it lives through the winter. You know, because swamps usually have a lot of life in them. But yeah, that's cool. You learn something new every day. All right. Well, damn, we're a little early. You guys have anything that's been going on in your area? Gerald out in Maine, is there any storms? How's the weather? I don't need to ask Broken Patriot because it's basically, well, I can ask him how he's doing. And Jupiter 5, I don't know exactly where you're at, but hopefully everything is well. If you guys have any stories, link them up. That's what it's there for. But check out all the links down in the descriptions below. All the places you can follow me, my secondary YouTube channel, DLive, if you're watching me on that. I do have Twitter that I use very rarely, but once in a while. The biggest one of all, though, is Discord. Check out my Discord. There's a place there to share stories, too. So if you're, like, coming across one during the day, like, hey, maybe he don't know about this. Send that in the Discord. I'll get that, and I'll check that before I start up the episode. Biden is attempting to display that he's not a bigot by sniffing children of all races. Oh. Smells like tacos. Oh, I get in trouble for jokes sometimes, unfortunately. Other than all the places to follow me, we have all the causes I believe in and support down below as well. Y'all know about this. It's a small room tonight. But if you didn't know, we have the PH Association. It's a disease I live with. We have ProjectRecover.org. That's an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members, returns their remains to their families. We have the GOA, Gun Owners of America. And then we have Rally Point Irish. My good friend Irish USMC vet is trying to get some land in Tennessee where vets could come and stay room and board free while learning new skills like farming, blacksmithing, and gunsmithing, computer classes, other things like that. Right? So I donate 50% of everything this channel makes to him directly because I believe in that one, and I promised him that, and I will continue doing that because I want to see it finished. So also down below is all the ways to donate to the channel if you want to do it financially. If you do end up doing that, thank you. But 50% of that does go to Rally Point Irish. If you want to help out the channel in other ways, comment, like, subscribe. The biggest one of all is sharing it with friends you think would like this kind of content. That always helps out quite a bit because we are demonetized and shadow banned. I guess I have to wait until all my strikes fall off to apply for getting monetization again. But I would pretty much have to stop doing this show on this channel and just, I don't know. I just don't like I watch my mouth enough as it is, and I still get in trouble all the time. And I'm tired of it. Daytime in the 50s, nights in 30s and 40s. Right now, yeah. Come January or February, it'll be minus 30. Oh, I bet. Yeah, they were starting to change in Indiana when I was there. I bet that's beautiful. That is something that me and Riddle would love to do. So, I'm not saying I'm never coming to visit, but I mean, there are reasons why I would love to, for sure. Sending your security video off the cloud service. Look out. What? No. No cloud. No cloud for me. Thank you very much. But I appreciate it. All right. Other than that, let's see. We had all the causes. We had all the places to follow. All the ways to donate are down there. Oh, affiliate links. I need to add a new one. Riddle Girl, can you remind me to add a new one? Or can you add it for next time? Is pickle pipes. Okay. So if you guys don't know, I like to do home fermentation. Not beer. But I do sauerkraut. I do my own pickles fermented. I haven't gotten a good fermented pickle yet. They're always kind of soggy. So I'm still looking on that. But every once in a while I'll try those. The ones in the vinegar seem to be a lot better for the crunchiness. But yeah, sauerkraut is a big one. Love the sauerkraut. And when I do sauerkraut, it's just shredded cabbage, right? And then you weigh that. And whatever it is in grams, you times by 0.02. 0.02 will give you a small number. It's usually like 40 or 50 grams when I'm doing it. And that's how many grams of pickling salt you need. And then you mix that all together in a big bowl with the salt and let it break down. It'll get wet. The salt brings out the moisture out of out of the cabbage, right? And then eventually, after about a couple hours of squishing it down and rotating it and mixing it, making sure the salt gets on everything, you put it in jars. You put that pickle pipe on and a pickle pebble in it. So what it is, it's a glass thing that keeps the cabbage down, and a silicone looks like a nipple ring that goes instead of a lid over your mason jar. It's a silicone lid with a nipple on it, and then you tighten down the ring lid, and you just set it aside. I usually put a bowl underneath it because it usually makes even more water, and then it will overflow a little bit. But in about 4 to 5 days, maybe a week, you have sauerkraut, raw sauerkraut with all the good lactobacteria. So yeah, long story short, pickle pipes and pickle pebbles are a great thing for home fermentation. Another thing we do with home fermentation like that with those is honey garlic. We ferment garlic in honey. That one's as easy as you can do. All you do is you fill up the jar with peeled garlic, cloves, cover it with honey, put the pickle pebble pebble in so that it keeps the honey down. Put the lid on and wait a week. Although I've been told you got to wait like 4 weeks, but I always usually start eating it at about a week. Many celebrities had their information, pictures stolen from the cloud. Yeah, the cloud's not secure at all. The only thing I use the cloud for is game file saves. That's it. Now, the security system that I have, I do believe has cloud service. No, I will not be using it. Will I hook it up to the internet? That's questionable. Because I would like to have access when I'm not at home to check up at home. So I'm questioning that one. What's up, Liberty Not Licensed? Just planted a winter garden, including pickling cucumbers. Would love to make dill pickles and bread and... Oh, dude. Yes, I think we did the video. I have not edited it. But it's a great... I should put this up. We did pickled sweet cauliflower. I'd never heard of it. Never heard of it. Our neighbor that we go watch movies at and spend time with, she told us that one of her favorite things to buy at the store that she hasn't been able to find in a long time was pickled sweet cauliflower. I did a search. I was like, I'm interested. I want to see what that's like because I've pickled carrots, I've pickled beets, I've pickled onions, I've pickled garlic, I've pickled all sorts of things, right? But I've never pickled cauliflower. Not like that, not a sweet pickle. And sure enough, we looked it up. We only found one recipe, and that recipe was a hit. She loved it, and I loved it, and it was really good. And I do have that as a video that I need to edit and put up. Pickle pipe and pickle pebble combo. Is it already in an Amazon link affiliate? Oh, okay. So there you go. Get them both. They come in packs of 4 if you want them. 4 nipples, well, 4 pipes and 4 pebbles. Hey, what's up, Prita? Yeah, we call them pickle nipples. Prita, everybody's coming in at the end. Oh, I'm just bullshitting now for the next 10 minutes, so we can talk about stuff like that. We actually canned some of our sauerkraut too, which killed the lactobacteria. But we had so much sauerkraut made because we had gotten a deal and we didn't get through it that fast. And then another deal came up and we're like, let's make some more because we had Trinidad scorpion peppers. We had some, we had what's the hottest one? The Carolina Reaper. We had the ghost pepper. So we make sauerkraut with a full-on pepper in there, not whole. We cut it up and chop it up. We wear gloves. But I'd started doing this with my sauerkraut with ghost peppers. So you just take, it's a half-gallon jar, and I put a whole ghost pepper in there, chop it up fine. It does get warm, but if you eat it with anything, it's about the heat of a jalapeno. But the flavor is really, really good because the ghost pepper itself is pretty good tasting. So I did the same thing with the Carolina Reaper and the Trinidad Scorpion. 1 pepper per half gallon. It should heat it up. That'll heat up a lot more than the ghost. The ghost, anybody who can handle a jalapeno can handle that. Stick around and deal with me bugging you. I loke bread and butter pickles. You love them? You will leave? Don't leave. He's probably already gone. Y'all blowing me up now. Okay. Pickled stuff is supposed to be very good for you. I think it's, yeah, well, if you ferment, there's different kind of pickling, right? You can ferment it, which is the original pickle, or you can vinegar it, right? The vinegar will definitely make a pickle, cucumber pickle, very much more crunchy, right? The sweet cauliflower or sweet pickled cauliflower we did was vinegar. It wasn't fermented. So we do both. But we need to get more white vinegar apparently. Do you have a recipe book video to post, possibly put on Odyssey or BitChute? Ooh. I have videos in the queue. I do have one sauerkraut making video from years ago when I was like 450 pounds, which is really cringed watching it now, I tell you what. I need to redo that. I do have some videos in the works. I was thinking of posting those here and there, but once again, I gotta edit it. I should do that. I should do that. Apparently, that actually used to make sandwiches out of bread and butter pickles, bread, butter, and sweet pickles. I like bread and butter pickles. I don't really like sweet pickles, but bread and butter is different. I don't know anything about that yet, but I'm sure. Do you like eating them? Oh, it is so much more fun to make it. And some of them are easy. Like if you, as I said, if you like sauerkraut, that's easy. I could teach you in a video, or I could tell you now. Just shred your cabbage, weigh it on a scale in grams, whatever it weighs, times by 0.02. That's how much canning salt or pickling salt you need. You can buy pickling salt in all sorts of places. It's pretty cheap right now, but there might be a salt shortage according to some people, so I don't know. Other than that, a mason jar, a pickle pipe, and a pickle pebble. You shred the cabbage, you salt it with the weighted salt, you mix it, you wait like an hour, you mix it again, not in the jar, but in a mixing bowl, right? You do that a couple times for about an hour, 2 hours or so. And then you put it in the jar. Stuff it in as tight as you can. If you got something to mash it down in, that's even better. You know, get as much tight in there as you can. Put the pebble in, put the pipe on, seal it up, you're good to go. You gotta wait like a week. Dill pickles for subs and burgers is a must. I haven't done a burger thing. I have not done a pickle thing. I haven't found a good pickle recipe yet. I think I'm close to one though. I just got to get more pickles. You need some cauliflower? Seriously, it's good stuff. Well, maybe that's what I should have taken on my trip, because I took people canned food. Like we had canned apple pie filling, because when we were going through it, our neighbor went to the food bank and had like a whole thing of apples, like a full-on box of sweet apples that were going bad.
It was ridiculous.
They were going bad, right? So Riddle actually got one of those apple peelers to get through them fast, which made a sticky mess on the ground. So we eventually started outside because it was so bad. Anyway, we got through all those apples and made apple pie filling low sugar. It was like 1/4 of the sugar that they asked for in the recipe. And that was really good. So all you have to do now that we've canned it, right, it's shelf stable. It'll last for years, decade maybe even, is all you have to do is have a pie crust, pour the filling right out of the jar into that pie crust, put it into the oven until the pie crust is done and the pie is warm, unless you want to put a top crust on it. Absolutely delicious. Loved it. We still have a lot of it. I like pickles, but not on other things. Yeah. Ship me some, I will pay. Some of the sweet pickled cauliflower. All right. How much do you want? We do it in pint jars, right?
Yep.
Although we could do it in quarts. But pint jars would probably be easier to ship. Depends on how much you want. Because shipping jars is interesting.
Oh man, pie. Liberty.
Tactical Tony sharing a link. All right. Rubbing it in, Tony. With a laugh, even. With the laugh. Oh man, pie. Who wants pie? How many of those pie fillings do we have?
Let's see. I think we only have one.
Oh, really? We only have one left? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
'cause we've given away.
Yeah, we gave so many away because, you know, we don't eat a lot of sweet things because, you know, try not to. Pickling salt and why shortage? Why is Biden brains being pickled? I don't know, Jupiter 5. Pickling salt, you'll find it usually where you find canning supplies. So I would suggest your local grocery store, Walmart, Target. Those are the main places, right? Pickling salt, especially at Walmart, will be right next to the pickling or the mason jars.
We only have one jar
Oh.
of apple pie filling, but you can show
All right, yeah, this is the one jar left of the apple pie filling that we have. It's very thick. It's just ready to go. It's ooey gooey yummy.
And then there's our salsa. That
This
we
is
did.
oh yeah, we just did a massive run of our better than paste picante sauce salsa. And as somebody who's loved picante sauce for his whole life, this definitely beats that. We had a deal on Roma tomatoes. What was it, 50 cents
50
a
cents
pound? So we just made like, I don't know, it was 7 each time. We made at least more than 14, right? Like 21, I think. And then these are my pickles. They are not as crispy as I would like, right? But here's my deal. Yeah. It's a good flavor, but I should have put in some of the, I forget what it's called, but it makes it a little bit crispier.
Yeah,
Text you? All right, I'll text you. Just a couple jars. All right. Pecan pie. Oh my God. Have you ever had, you know how much sugar is in a pecan pie or pecan pie? It's pretty much all sugar. That whole, you know, chewy part is sugar. It's Caro syrup, which is sugar, yeah. Wrap them in bubble wrap and ship it. Text me. I'll text you. Well, we have to make another batch, so it's going to be a minute because we don't. I don't think we have any left because we go through it pretty quick. Yeah,
cauliflower's delicious.
it's really good. So it's never really on our shelves because we'll snack on it. It's delicious. My peppers and tomatoes are still going crazy. Nice. Morton's is in a green box. Yeah, pickle. I did say pickle. You want a pickle? Have you noticed that tomatoes aren't as tasty as decades past? No, I have not. Probably because I used to smoke, and everything tastes better now than it did back when I was a smoker. So, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Pickle crisp. Yeah, sugar is delicious. Don't get me wrong. If you like sugar, if you're into that, by all means, you do you. I just can't. But I'll tell you right now, a quarter of the sugar it called for, it's still very sweet. So I can only imagine if it had been full on sugared up. Picante sauce made in New York City is the best. Nah. Well, this is made in Arizona. So,
In our house.
and I do have some in Carolina Reaper, in Trinidad Scorpion, and I believe Ghost Pepper as well. So if you ever want to try some of the hottest, we did a mixture. We did a mixture of all 5 peppers.
Yep.
Jalapeno, habanero, then the Ghost Pepper, the Trinidad, and then the Carolina Reaper. Yeah, we did a 5-alarm one, which actually I don't think is going to be as hot. I don't know. Maybe it will be. You in my time zone yet? No, I'm not. I'm in Arizona, bro. I'm in Mountain State. I'm in Pacific. So right now it's 7 o'clock. You can substitute pickling salt with kosher salt. Yes, you can. I don't know the math on that. So when it comes to like doing, first of all, the reason why you want pickling salt for like sauerkraut is because the smaller granules. Pickling salt is just regular salt that is smaller granules, right? The reason why it's better when it's small is because it absorbs better. It's harder for a bigger piece of salt to absorb in a small little area than it is a very, very teeny tiny piece of salt. So it absorbs better. And what the weight is different, right? You can't do it times a 0.02 with regular table salt or with coarse salt. The math is off. And I know because I've done it. And it was disgusting. I use monk fruit and stevia when I bake now. Works just as good. I like that. Yeah, we've been trying to do more monk fruit. Swerve, I believe we use Swerve.
Yep. And that's erythritol.
Bikes is pickled in bourbon. I sure am. I was talking to Bikes. No, you're all right. Those name. Oh yeah. Find a small, quaint town and name the salsa after, not a large city. I don't know if I'm selling it, but I'll tell you what, I probably could make a decent profit on it right now just because we got the tomatoes so cheap. But when you sell a jar, you have to sell the jar too, and that costs money. The lid costs money, right?
Oh, and that's the what breaks my heart is you never get the jar back.
You never get the jar back, so you have to charge for that jar because you have to go buy you a new jar. So I mean, it's going to be more like if I sold it, it would be more. Even now, even though I saved money, it'd still be more than probably paste pecani sauce. Yeah, after you grind it down. After you grind it down. Okay. Cool. Well, we went on a little bit longer, just having a good old time talking about pickling. So I as I was saying, I can some of my sauerkraut to make room for to make room because I had a whole bunch of stuff in the fridge that we still haven't gotten to. Well, if you pickle sauerkraut or ferment it and leave it in the fridge, it'll last like 8 to 9 months. It doesn't really go bad. And then you could probably even leave it longer if you just left it on the counter with the pickle pipe on it, because as long as air doesn't get in, it's not going to go bad because there's no oxygen in there to degrade anything, right? I would imagine, it'll probably go bad eventually, right? But I haven't gotten to that point yet.
We did actually can some sauerkraut.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. So the if you just ferment it and you just wait the 7 days and then eat it raw and put it in your fridge and it lasts in your fridge for 7 or 8 months or longer, then that's fine. But we had so much we decided to can it. Now, the stuff that's in the fridge, even though it's been in the fridge for 8 months, still has that healthy bacteria, that lactobacillus. Yeah, lactobacillus, which is a really good bacteria. Like if you ever have to be on antibacteria medication, right? Antibiotic. That's what. If you ever have to be on antibiotics, it kills out all the good and the bad bacteria, right? So the best way to get over that, I have found, is I just take a forkful or two of sauerkraut right out of the fridge. It's got the lactobacteria in there, and that makes me feel better all the time. Some people don't like it though, so to those people, they're wrong. We don't have any canning supplies available to buy near me. Wow. So we use a tamale pot for our water bass canning. If you have a Mexican supermarket, we have one here called Food City. All you need is a big tamale pot, and just take a jar with you or something and put the jar in there and make sure that the lid is underneath the lip of the pot, and you'll be good to go. Because you need that rack for it not being directly on the water, or I mean directly on the bottom of the pot. The tamale pot. We have a pressure canner that we spent a lot of money on. The tamale pot, I think it was like $5 or $10.
Yeah, tamale pot is cheap.
It's cheap. The pressure canner, we have an All-American 912, I think, or something like that. It can do 7 quarts or 14 pints. And I pressure can meat, stew, chili. In fact, we did the hot chili too, Riddle. Remember, we have Trinidad Scorpion. We have Carolina Reaper chili as well, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had the Carolina Reaper yet. I think we taste tested a little bit, and yeah.
I taste tested all of them. They were all very, very hot.
They were very hot. Salsa from Possum Hills.
Yeah, Jupiter trying to name your salsa.
Tombstone, or Wilcox. Wilcox is a town that I was born in, actually. Now you have more information on me, and you're like, oh, city of birth, got it. Yeah. Got a farm stand sells pickles that make at the farm. They charge $1 deposit on the jar. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. If you come back and you return the jar, I'll give you a discount or something, or give you money back. But look online. So the All-American canner, the pressure canner that I have, we bought online. That got shipped to my door. It was expensive. The reason I went with that one was mostly because of two reasons. It has the most safety features, and it doesn't have a rubber ring. A rubber ring will break down. It'll dry out. You'll have to replace it. Mine is metal to metal contact with a little bit of Vaseline or olive oil. So either one will work. And I definitely wanted to be careful with a pressure canner, because if they fail, it's no longer a pressure canner. It's a boom boom. All right, guys. I think that's where I'm going to end it. I got to go to the bathroom, and then we're going to have dinner, and I don't know what we're doing after that, maybe. Anyway. Thanks for showing up and having that conversation. And for anybody that's watching this on the repeat, you found a gym, because I don't usually have time to just go on and talk about canning supplies. But yeah, that would be a safe video thing to do, right? I could do that on YouTube and not be shadow banned. I might not make anything out of it because I don't like to edit, but I do like fermenting. I do like cooking. And even though I can't eat a lot because of the surgery, the food that I want to eat, I want to be the best food I can eat taste-wise, especially if I'm off diet. So even on diet, I'm trying to eat good tasting food. But even like when I went on my vacation, I wanted to go to places that I knew were good. I didn't want to go to McDonald's. I didn't want to go to Subway. I want to go to places that are going to, be the best bang for my calorie. So, good night and God bless you. Hell yeah, Liberty Not Licensed. Thank you very much for showing up. We'll all talk to you later. And yeah, I'll think about doing more videos on that. The salsa, we did do a video on the salsa. So if you're interested in making that salsa, all you need is a tamale pot, some canning jars and lids and tongs and, the basic canning supply kit. You can make it pretty easily. All right. Until I see you next time, keep that family close. Watch out for that government and try to live as free as you can in this world that we live in today. Because holy hell, it's coming from all angles. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.